So friends, today we have learned semiconductor device chapter. First we can see here what we should learn in 11th standard. For that we should take a revision on that points. In semiconductor, first we can see here definition of semiconductor. Those material whose conductivity lies between conductor and insulator. That material is called as a semiconductor. Here broadly classified by that semiconductor in elemental semiconductor, compound semiconductor and organic semiconductor. Here we can see only the example of this elemental semiconductor. Elemental semiconductor having an example silicon and germanium. These are the example for elemental semiconductor. If we can see the compound semiconductor, then cadmium sulfide and cadmium sulfide and zinc sulfide are the example for the compound semiconductor. If we can see the organic semiconductor, in that anthracene doped with a phthalocyanine and polyaniline, these are the example for the organic semiconductor, that is polyaniline. These are the example for elemental silicon and germanium, for compound cadmium sulfide and zinc sulfide, and organic semiconductor, that is anthracene doped with a phthalocyanine and polyaniline are the example of organic semiconductor. Here if we can consider any metals or any solids, in that we can see the topmost orbit or outermost orbit there are a free electrons. If suppose we can consider silicon or germanium as a semiconductor, it should having how much electrons in the outermost orbit. Silicon, if we can consider, there is its atomic number is 14 and 4 electrons are in the outermost orbit. That outermost orbit or topmost orbits are having a energy level. That energy level is called as a valence energy level, and the band formed by that valence energy level is called as a valence band. What is the valence band? Valence band is nothing but the band which is responsible for the valence electrons. Again, when these free electrons in the valence band, they are gets a energy and goes in the next energy level, that is conduction energy level. The band responsible for conduction level, that band is called as a conduction band. These are the definition for the valence band and the conduction band. Now we can see the semiconductor. The semiconductor on the depend of impurities. There are again two type of semiconductor: intrinsic semiconductor and the extrinsic semiconductor. Impurity is nothing but the which atom we should add it here. That is a trivalent or pentavalent impurities added on that. There are two types, that is intrinsic semiconductor and extrinsic semiconductor. The pure semiconductor, that is silicon and germanium, that are the pure semiconductor and it is called as a intrinsic semiconductors. What is intrinsic semiconductor? The semiconductor which is in a pure form, then that semiconductor is called as a intrinsic semiconductor. If we can see in intrinsic semiconductors, when free electrons in the outermost orbits, they should get a energy and goes in the next energy level. At that time they should travel from valence band to conduction band. If suppose we can consider this is the valence band, in that valence band there is electrons are present, and when this valence band electrons or charges gets a energy and they are goes in the next energy level, that is in the next energy band, that is conduction band, and when they are travel here, at that time that charge comes here, at that time there is a vacancy in the valence band. That vacancy is called as a hole. They donate the electrons, and so the charge on that holes is a effective positive charge. When holes are created, when these valence electrons are travel from valence band to conduction band, at that time there is a vacancy. That vacancy is called as a hole. Here if we can see the silicon material is considered, and that silicon semiconductor is connected in a circuit or applied a potential difference or applied a external voltage, at that time there is a free electrons in the valence band. When these free electrons goes in the conduction band, they should make a holes. Here there are the holes, these are the free electrons. When this semiconductor, that is pure semiconductor, is connected in an electronic circuit, at that time there is a charge carriers by two ways. One, this charge carrier due to a electron and charge carrier due to a holes. When it is connected in electronic circuit, at that time these electrons moves toward the positive power supply and these holes are moves toward the negative power supply. Here the current produced by the electron is called as a electron current. Current produced by the holes, it is called as a hole current. Here number of holes and number of free electrons, they are equal in a intrinsic semiconductor. That is NH is number of holes, that is NH, number of electrons, that is Ne. They are equal in where? Intrinsic semiconductor. Its conductivity is very low, and so we should want to increase the conductivity. At that time we should add a impurity in that. It is a trivalent or pentavalent impurities. The process of adding a impurity for increase the conduction of electronic charges, that process is called as a doping. And the semiconductor which are made by dopings, that semiconductor is called as a extrinsic semiconductor. What is the doping? Doping is nothing but the process of adding impurities. That process is called as a doping. And here trivalent and pentavalent impurity is added. Trivalent is nothing but the indium, boron and aluminum, and pentavalent is nothing but the phosphorus, arsenic and antimony. Here the dopants is nothing but the impurity is added, that material is called as a dopants, and that parent atom is called as a host. Here trivalent and pentavalent are dopants. And what is the host? Host is nothing but the silicon and germanium. These are the parent atoms. In that we should add this dopant. And so silicon and germanium are the host. Again we can see the next type in extrinsic semiconductor. There are the two types, N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor. If suppose first we can see the N-type semiconductor, and in that N-type semiconductor we should add a pentavalent impurities. What is the pentavalent impurities? In which in the outermost orbit there are 5 electrons, then it is called as a pentavalent impurities. If suppose we can consider phosphorus, arsenic and antimony, these are the material which are used for a pentavalent impurity. Suppose we can consider antimony. In the antimony, how much electrons are free there? There are the 5 electrons. These are the 5 electrons are present in the pentavalent impurity, and instead of this silicon, if suppose we can consider these are the silicon semiconductor, in that how much free electrons in the outermost orbit? 4 electrons. These are 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 electrons on each silicon atom. They should have how much? 4 electrons free. And again, when we should, instead of silicon, we should take a antimony, that is ESB. How much it should having a free electron? It should having a 5 electrons. That 5 electrons are combined with that silicon. That means this is the first electron of that antimony, this is the second, this one is the third, and this one is suppose 4. That means we should get a 4 free electrons are combined with the 4 free electrons of the silicon, and they makes a octet. But the 5 electrons which are remains here, and these free electrons is called as a donor electrons, and that means when we should add a 1 antimony atom in the silicon, at that time we should get a one free electrons. In this way we should add a number of antimony atoms in the silicon. At that time number of free electrons we should get here, and so we can say that here this in n-type semiconductor is conduction due to a electron, that is negative charge, and so we can say that when we should add a number of antimony atoms, at that time number of free electrons is very large as compared to number of holes, and conduction is due to what is due to conduction is due to why? Conduction due to a number of electrons. And when we can consider a electronic circuit or give a energy, at that time number of majority charge carriers are number of electrons and minority charge carriers are hole, and both are responsible for the conduction. And here conduction due to electrons, and so it is called as a n type of semiconductor. Number of free electrons are here large quantity, that is majority charge carriers, and so it is called as a n type semiconductor. Now we can see the p type semiconductor. In that p type semiconductor we should add a trivalent impurity, that is trivalent is nothing but the aluminum, indium and boron. These are the trivalent impurity. If suppose we can consider aluminum, they should be added here, that is how much free electrons in the aluminum? There are 3 electrons in the outermost orbit, that means this is the 1, this will be the 2 and this will be the 3 free electrons are added here. But to complete the octet of silicon 4 atoms and aluminum is 3 atoms, and to complete the octet 1 electrons is remains, and due to this impurity as added, at that time there is a vacancy, and that vacancy is called as a hole. And due to complete octet these electrons comes here, and here we should get a complete the octet of that trivalent impurity, and again we should get here vacancy. In this way we should get the conduction, number of holes are present in the p-type semiconductor, and conduction is due to holes, and so we can say that this accept atom accept the electrons and become a negative charge ion. Number of holes in the p-type semiconductor is very large as compared to number of electrons, and when this p-type semiconductor is connected in an electronic circuit, at that time the majority charge carriers are hole and minority charge carriers are the electrons, and so both are responsible for the conductions. From this we can say that in the p-type semiconductor the conduction is due to holes. If we can see the n-type semiconductor, the conduction due to electrons. And from this, on the p-type material or p-type semiconductor there is holes, and on the n-type semiconductor there is electrons. When these electrons and holes are joined together, at that time we should get a p-n junction diode. What we should get here? We should get a p-n junction diode. When this p-type material, suppose this is the holes are here, that is p-type terminal, and here that is n-type terminal, and when they are joined together, at that time there is a exchange of ions. On the p there is a holes, and on the n there is electrons. When exchange of electrons is at the junction, that exchange of electron is called as a diffusion. This negative that is electron charge, and here is the holes are there, that these holes are transfer here and these electrons are transfer here. That means here we should get a electron charge carriers, and here we should get a holes here. Again we can consider on the next level, that means we should get here there is a electron charge and here also electron charge, and here we should get a holes. Exchange of ion is called as, at the junction, is called as a diffusion. And when there is a exchange of ions, at that time the there is a potential difference, and that potential difference is called as a potential barrier. If we can consider this potential barrier for silicon, that potential barrier is 0.6 to 0.7 volt, and if we can consider germanium, that potential barrier is 0.3 volt to 0.35 volt. These are the potential barrier at which we should get a suddenly increase the current in the PN junction diode. Again, when potential barrier is produced, at that time a region where, this is the region at which there is a no charge is present. Other than that region we should get a holes and electrons, but where there is exchange of electrons and holes, at that time there is a no charge in that region. That region is called as a depletion region. Here in depletion region, on the p side there is a electrons, on n side there is a holes. And if we can see that this deflection region for forward bias, when we can say that PN junction diode is in a forward bias, when potential voltage is applied or power supply is applied, this is the potential voltage. Here there is a positive terminal, this one is the negative terminal. When p type material is connected to positive power supply, n type diode or n terminal is connected to a negative power supply, at that time this connection is called as a forward bias. When we can say it is a forward bias, positive of power supply and p of the p terminal of the diode, they are connected, n terminal is connected to n terminal of the diode, and then we can say that it is a forward bias. What happens in that condition, there is a diffusion of ions, barrier potential barrier is produced, and that for silicon is 0.6 and 0.7 volt. And this depletion region, when we can say that it is in a forward bias, this depletion region is decreases and this junction is breakdown at the 0.6 volt or 0.7 volt, and current suddenly will be increases. In that condition we should get a milliampere current in the forward bias. That means we should conduct that PN junction diode in a forward bias and we should get a current in the electronic circuit. If the connections are opposite, that means the negative terminal of the power supply is connected to the which terminal? This is the negative terminal. Negative terminal of the power supply is connected to P of a PN junction diode, and positive terminal is connected to N terminal of the PN junction diode. At that time we can say that it is a reverse bias. In reverse bias what happens? There is also diffusion and exchange of electrons and ions, but here the depletion region is not decreases, the depletion region will be the increases, and electrons and holes are goes away from that junction, and in that condition this depletion region will be the increases and current does not flow in a reverse bias, and we can say that there is a diode which is used as a open switch in that condition. What is reverse bias? Reverse bias is nothing but the when there is a no current through the circuit, at that time we can say that it is a reverse bias, and in that condition very small current is we should get in that condition, or practically there is no current, and that if current is gets at that time, that current is very small, that is microampere. And in this way, if we can see the symbol of that PN junction diode, in that this is the symbol of PN junction diode, this is the P terminal and this one is the N terminal, and we can say that this is the anode and this one is the cathode. In this way we can learn, that is what we should learn in the 11th standard. Thank you.